Across the endless darkness of space, some wars are fought in the shadows. Worlds die, empires feast, and the galaxy simply looks away. But there is a legend, whispered in the darkest corners of the cosmos, a warning given to tyrants and warlords. If you push the helpless too far, if you silence every voice of hope, they will make one final call, and the ones who answer will bring hell with them. The twin suns of Viridia cast a blinding glare across the shimmering green desert. Kalen Vance, a former Alliance soldier, now masquerading as a freelance cargo pilot, squinted through the cockpit of his freighter, the Wanderer. Below, the city of Christfall was carved into a colossal geode mountain, its crystalline spires glittering like broken emeralds. His mission was supposed to be simple: pick up a discreet package of antiquities, no questions asked, and deliver it to a collector in the Outer Rim. It was a dirty job, but it paid the bills and kept him far from the ghosts of his past. The air on Viridia was thin, tasting of ozone and a grit that tasted of despair. This world, though beautiful, was a place on the edge of collapse, a jewel slowly being crushed under the boot of an unseen oppressor. Kalen just wanted to get his cargo, get paid, and disappear back into the anonymity of the void. He had made a promise to himself long ago to never get involved, to never choose a side again. The galaxy could burn for all he cared. He was just passing through its ashes, one delivery at a time. As Kalen navigated the bustling Crystal Fall market, a space carved from glowing crystal caves, he saw them. Two hulking Valkorian legionnaires, their gunmetal gray armor absorbing the light around them. They were accosting a young Cygnian woman, her skin shimmering with a faint, pearlescent light, her large, dark eyes wide with fear. The crystal merchants and locals, once a vibrant crowd, now turned away, their faces masks of practiced indifference. They abandoned her, knowing the price of defiance. The Valkorians were known for their brutality, especially towards the Cygnian refugees who had fled to Viridia. The lead legionnaire grabbed her arm, his voice a guttural sneer. "Starlight Weaver, you're coming with us. The High Admiral has a use for your kind." Kalen felt that old familiar knot tighten in his gut. He could turn away, just like everyone else. He could complete his mission. But in the woman's terrified eyes, he saw the reflection of a promise he had made over a fallen comrade's grave. A promise to never again stand by and watch the helpless suffer. He let his cargo bag drop with a soft thud on the crystal floor and began walking towards them. "You have no idea what you've just done, human," Ilara breathed, clinging to Kalen as their stolen speeder bike swerved through the narrow crystalline canyons outside Christfall. Behind them, the roar of Dominion patrol bikes echoed, their blaster bolts shattering the green crystal walls into showers of glittering dust. Kalen banked the speeder hard, a reckless grin on his face. "Relax, it's just like flying a freighter, only lower." "You have no idea what you've just done, human," Ilara breathed, clinging to Kyalan as their stolen speeder bike swerved through the narrow crystalline canyons outside Crisfall. Behind them, the roar of Dominion patrol bikes echoed, their blaster bolts shattering the green crystal walls into showers of glittering dust. Kyalan banked the speeder hard, a reckless grin on his face. "Relax, it's just like flying a freighter, only lower and with more things to crash into," he yelled over the wind. Ilara shot him a terrified look. "You're a terrible driver," she shouted back, her voice a mix of panic and reluctant admiration. He laughed, the sound genuine for the first time in years. "I'm a pilot. There's a difference." As a patrol bike pulled alongside them, Ilara instinctively raised her hand. A blinding flash of pure white light erupted from her palm, momentarily overloading the enemy driver's senses and sending his bike careening into a canyon wall. Kyanan glanced at her in astonishment. "Okay, I'm starting to see why they're so afraid of you." For a fleeting moment, amidst the chaos and danger, they shared a smile. Two strangers united against an empire. The battered hull of the Wanderer was a sanctuary as it silently drifted in the asteroid field where Kyalan had hidden it. Inside, Ilara finally explained the horrifying truth. Ilara's voice low, filled with pain. "They call us Starlight Weavers," she began, her voice low and filled with pain. "We can manipulate light. We can create illusions, soothe pain. We can heal." Narrator's tone becomes grave, serious. She revealed that the Valkorian Dominion wasn't just oppressing her people, they were harvesting them. Under the command of the monstrous High Admiral Thrax, the Signians were being captured and placed in energy siphons that slowly drained their life force, converting their innate light into a powerful energy source for the Dominion's war machine. It was a slow, agonizing death, a systematic genocide hidden from the galactic concord under the guise of refugee resettlement. Ilara's voice, a heartbroken whisper. "They aren't just conquerors," she whispered, her shimmering skin pulsing with sorrow. "They are vampires, feeding on the very soul of my people. My family, my entire world is being consumed to fuel their hate." Narrator's voice heavy with weight. Kyalan listened, the weight of his simple choice in the market crashing down on him. He had saved one person, but he had stumbled into a war against an unimaginable evil. A piece of shrapnel from a blaster bolt had torn through Kyalan's shoulder during the chase, a deep gash that bled sluggishly despite his medipack. He winced as he tried to clean it. "Let me," Ilara said, her voice soft but firm. She knelt before him, her hands glowing with a gentle, warm light. "This is a starlight meld. It is how we share our strength, how we heal our own." She hesitated, her dark eyes searching his. "I will need to connect to your thoughts, your emotions. You will feel everything I am." Kyalan looked at her, seeing not a victim, but a survivor, with a core of unbreakable steel. He nodded slowly. "I trust you." She placed her glowing palms over his wound. A wave of warmth and pure light flooded his senses. He saw her memories, a vibrant world of light, the terror of the invasion, the loss of her parents. In return, she felt his own deep-seated pain, the guilt of the war he'd left behind, the loneliness of his self-imposed exile. The light stitched his wound closed, but it also mended something deeper, weaving their two broken souls together into a single luminous thread. They had to warn someone. Using the ship's comms, Kalen tried to reach the galactic Concord, but every channel was jammed with Dominion encryption. Ilara, however, could feel the faint psychic echoes of her people across the stars. While trying to focus on them, she intercepted a different kind of signal, a tight beam transmission, cold and cruel. Kalen managed to decrypt the audio. The voice was deep and resonant with absolute authority, a voice that tolerated no dissent. It was High Admiral Thrax himself. The harvesting facilities are at peak capacity. The refugee camps on Viridia have served their purpose. Begin the final harvest. I want every last Signian drained by the next cycle. Leave no trace of their existence. The Dominion's future will be powered by their extinction. The message ended. Kalen and Ilara stared at each other in horror. They didn't have days or weeks, they had hours. The full weight of a genocide was about to fall, and they were alone, a single freighter against the might of the entire Valkorian Dominion fleet. Hope, for the first time, seemed like a fool's dream. The galaxy was silent, and an entire race was about to be extinguished.
We can't stop the fleet, but we can save someone. His plan was suicidal, but it was the only one they had. The facility housed the Signian elders, the keepers of their history and their light-weaving traditions. If they could be rescued, the Signian culture might survive. Using the Wanderer to create a diversion on the far side of the spire, they infiltrated the facility through a maintenance conduit. The interior was a nightmare of cold, sterile corridors and humming machinery, the air thick with the smell of ozone and sorrow. Their starlight meld had created a deeper connection. They could anticipate each other's thoughts, moving in perfect sync through the shadows. Kalen was the soldier, his movements precise and deadly. Ilara was the ghost, her light-weaving abilities creating subtle illusions that diverted patrols and bent the light around them, making them nearly invisible. Deep inside the fortress of their enemy, they fought not with blasters, but with a shared hope, a silent promise to not let an entire people's memory fade to black.
They found the elders in the spire's central chamber, suspended in glowing energy fields, their light being drained away by a monstrously complex machine. As Kalen began planting explosive charges to sever the power conduits, a slow, mocking clap echoed through the chamber. High Admiral Thrax emerged from the shadows, flanked by his elite guard. He was a towering figure, his face a mask of aristocratic cruelty. The human variable. So much chaos from such an insignificant species. He then turned his gaze to Ilara, a sneer twisting his lips. "And the little spark of light who thinks she can start a fire. Your efforts are admirable, but ultimately pathetic." He gestured, and his guards raised their rifles. "I will enjoy personally extinguishing you both. Your hope dies today, and your people will be nothing more than a footnote in the glorious history of the Dominion." There was no escape. They were trapped, surrounded, and facing the architect of a genocide. Kalen stood protectively in front of Ilara, his blaster a pitiful toy against the might before them. As High Admiral Thrax raised his own sidearm to deliver the killing blow, one of the Signian elders, with the last of her strength, reached out her hand towards Ilara. Their light connected, and together they unleashed a galaxy-wide psychic plea. It wasn't a request. It was a desperate, unified scream of a people on the brink of extinction. A final, defiant cry into the void. The message was simple and raw, broadcast on every known frequency. We were losing, so we called humanity. For a moment, nothing happened. Thrax laughed. "Who are you calling? No one is coming." And then space itself seemed to tear open. Dozens, then hundreds of warp signatures blazed into existence in orbit. Human ships. From sleek Alliance frigates to massive, hulking dreadnoughts, they surrounded the Dominion fleet. Inspired by Kalen's courage and the impossible sight above, Ilara's power surged. She didn't just create a flash, she wove the light in the chamber into solid, blinding lances, striking the Dominion guards with concussive force. Kalen used the opening, his blaster firing with deadly accuracy, fighting with a ferocity Thrax had never witnessed. The tide had turned. Hope had answered. Aboard the bridge of the Alliance flagship, the Unconquered, Kalen and Ilara stood side by side, watching as the last of the Valkorian ships surrendered. High Admiral Thrax was in custody, his empire beginning to crumble under the weight of his revealed atrocities. The rescued Signians were being tended to, among them a small orphaned girl with wide, curious eyes who now refused to leave Ilara's side. The child timidly took Kalen's hand, her small grip a silent question. Kalen smiled, a genuine, warm smile, and squeezed back. A new family, forged in the fires of rebellion, had just been born. Later, as they stood before a viewport, looking out at the endless sea of stars, Ilara leaned against him. Their starlight meld had faded, but the connection remained, a permanent bond of love and shared purpose. Their struggle had not only saved a species, but had forged a new alliance, a powerful symbol proving that even in the darkest night, a single call to the right friends can bring the dawn. If stories like this remind you of the power of hope, then join our journey across the stars right here at Galaxy HFY. Subscribe and hit the notification bell for more epic science fiction adventures. And don't forget to like this video if you believe humanity will always answer the call. Let us know in the comments what you would do if you received a cry for help from another world. Until our next story, stay strong.